Neopaganism is a modern religious movement that seeks to incorporate beliefs or ritual practices from traditions outside of the main world religions, especially those of pre-Christian Europe and North America. To elaborate a little bit, these were seen as countercultural religions prior to the 1960s. Inclusivism appears as a common theme across all neo-pagan religions, implying an open interpretation of all religious beliefs. Neo-pagans also reject creeds, since creeds suggest a type of conformity to rules. In general, neo-paganism can be controversial due to its validation of all religious beliefs while lightly adhering to any type of religious practice. This phenomenon emerges since many religions ultimately contradict one another. If all religions are accepted, yet they have opposing points of view, how can they all be correct? Also, how can neo-pagan religions support the acceptance of all religions while debunking creeds, the documents that bluntly state requirements for beliefs in certain religious practices? All in all, neo-paganism has been criticized for its shallow roots, airy language, and contradictory dogma. A specific controversy for neo-pagan religions is the Salem witch trials. During 1962, in Massachusetts and Connecticut, there was a series of witch trials held, the most famous being the Salem witch trials. These trials resulted in the executions of 20 people, 14 of them women, and all but one died by hanging. There were 5 others who died in prison, including the 2 infant children. The witch trials stemmed from accusations made by a group of young girls that various townsfolk were in alliance with the devil. It's also important to remember that there is no evidence, other than the spectral evidence and coerced confessions, that any of the accused actually did practice witchcraft. In a predominantly Puritan community, just the accusation of someone being a practicing Wiccan in the town was enough to be a death sentence.
One of the main branches of neo-paganism is Satanism. Satanism itself is separated into 4 different groupings, each one containing different philosophies of how the religion should be perceived. The idea of Satanism was first brought up through the writings identifying with individualism and reason. The idea of Satanism as a religion started back in 1854. Originally derived from the Knights of the Templar, the term Lucifer was coined from a French magician, Eliphas Levi, also providing the Baphomet, which has become one of the main symbols of Satanism today. Levi claimed that Lucifer was actually a force that aided humanity's awakening, which allowed humans to expand spiritually. The next influential character dealing with Satanism is Aleister Crowley. He was known to use satanic imagery in his work. Even though Crowley never identified himself as a Satanist, his practice of satanic philosophies as well as his use of satanic imagery deemed Crowley as one of the leading forces of modern-day Satanism. The intolerance towards Satanism is due to the idea that they worship the Catholic devil. In some senses, this is true. In others, the devil is seen as an idea of individualism. A recent case held against a Satanist organization was held back in 2014, where an archbishop sued a Satanist organization for stealing a holy relic from the church. The Satanist organization was planning on holding a black mass at the public civic center and was going to use the Eucharistic host in its service. The leader of the Satanist organization, Adam Daniels, claims that he didn't steal the host, but instead asked for it from a different priest, and that the case was issued to postpone the Black Mass from happening. The Archbishop Paul Croakley claimed that this was false, but later withdrew his accusations. The Black Mass was held on September 21, 2014.
The religion of Wicca has one law or rule called the Rede, do what ye will, harm ye none. This sounds as if you can do whatever you want, as long as no one gets hurt. However, Wiccans are quick to point out that the ripple effect of one's actions can carry far-reaching consequences. They articulate this principle in the threefold law, which says, all good that a person does to another returns threefold in this life. Harm is also returned threefold. Fox News posted an article entitled, Wiccans Stir Up Controversy in Small Illinois Farming Town, where a group of Wiccans opened a shop and online school in the middle of Rossville, Illinois, a town of 1,200 people with 1 stoplight and 4 churches. The group claimed that they do not worship the devil or conjure up evil spells. They just wanted to practice their religion honoring earth and nature. Reverend Don Lewis of the witch school said that if people who don't want us here learn more about us, they are not necessarily going to agree with us or like us anymore, but at least they won't be afraid of us. Some members of the community are upset over what kind of influence the Wiccans will have on the Christian community. The township supervisor said that, "I just don't like what they bring into a community, and I am concerned about the youth. Young people are growing up, are just forming their opinions, and could be drawn into something that wouldn't really be good for their lives. I think that they bring a negative, dark influence, when what we would like to see is light in our community." Rossville has had its share of trouble in recent years, with factories shutting down, the high school closing, and a growing methamphetamine problem among the town's teenagers. Some residents worry that a witch school could make the problems worse. Church members say that they prayed for weeks over it, afraid of what the group's presence will do in the community. Andy Thomas of the Church of Christ said, "We believe that Satan can use this school as a tool to affect people's lives in negative ways." From this article, it is clear that the community was afraid of a group in which they knew nothing about, and they did not care to learn about what the group believes. In regards to Wiccans and witchcraft, not all Wiccans practice witchcraft, but those that do claim that magic is to them what prayer is to a Christian. The difference between the two is that Wiccans claim magic is simply the using of their minds to control matter, or they are appealing to their favorite deity to do them a favor, while Christians call upon an omnipotent and omnipresent God to heal people and to intervene and work in their lives. Something that is controversial for outsiders is that Wiccans call themselves witches, a term which most Westerners identify with Satanism. Even their religious symbols are very similar. As a result, Wiccans are constantly denying any connection with Satan or devil worship, which is the case for the Wiccan group in Illinois. Wiccans have attempted to establish ties with other polytheistic religions, such as Hinduism, and nature-oriented religious communities like those of Native Americans in order to become more accepted by society.
Earth religion, synonymous with earth-centered religion or nature worship, is a system of religious practices based on the veneration of natural phenomena. It encompasses worship of the earth, nature, or fertility gods and goddesses, such as the various forms of goddess worship or matriarchal religion. As far as origins are concerned, some ancient societies in the Indo-European regions followed matriarchal practices, stemming from their belief system that the Divine Mother created the earth and all that is in it. This builds the bridge between worshiping the earth itself and the believed goddesses involved in this religion. Later, around the 1800s, James Weir furthered this religious practice by proposing that since man depends on nature for survival, nature itself should be worshipped. In fact, many theologians hypothesized that some religions stemmed from earth worship, corresponding with man's basic need for survival. Involved in earth religion is the worship of rocks, trees, plants, animals, and even elements. Although it has ancient traces, earth religion did not become significantly popular until the 1990s through representations of earth worshippers in television shows. Now, earth religion is defined by its belief in Mother Earth and the exaltation of objects of nature. Instead of a set of beliefs and religious practices, earth religion is more focused on ethical thought and behavior. For example, there are 6 basic morals, and they are: 1. There is no divine judgment. 2. It is up to each individual to decide what is ethical. 3. Each individual is responsible for his or her actions. 4. Nature and all life should be honored. 5. There is no one correct path or religion, only that which fits best for each individual. 6. Moral doings are done for their own sake and not for a reward. Therefore, these stances influence the followers' spiritual dispositions and encourage behaviors such as recycling and being environmentally active. One of the biggest controversies surrounding earth religion is clearly the creation-evolution battle. Like other religions maintaining that the earth was made by a creator, evolutionists argue strongly against this. However, despite the backlash, keepers of this certain faith still hold that Mother Nature is the maker of the universe. Additionally, a lot of criticism surrounding earth religion is due to the seemingly strange respect followers hold for the earth. Being termed hippies or tree huggers, some critics find the worship of nature quite odd and frankly ridiculous. Furthermore, some followers have been accused of religious harassment and emulating Satanism, another neo-pagan religion spoken about previously. There are not many specific references of conflict involving earth religion, but from our research, we are finding a lot of tension in the political atmosphere when it comes to the value of the earth and all that it inhabits. Many conservatives place less emphasis on conserving nature and energy, having other priorities on their political agenda, while more emphasis is placed on conservation and living green for those of an earth-worshipping background. Neopaganism is the religious gateway to many other individual religions, placing a strong emphasis on the world. Due to its worldly outlooks, Neopaganism runs into much controversy in general with religions, like Christianity. A few of these religious practices involve Satanism, Wicca, and earth religion. Similarities can be seen across all of these practices through their emphasis on morality and spiritual well-being. Controversy is evident in each of these practices due to the lack of understanding others have for these belief systems, as well as issues caused by individual leaders in these particular regions. With the world becoming more open to new ideas, potential for religious conflict may start to decline in the coming future.